Hello, everyone. My name is Cliff. I am Director of Staff and Development, and I'm here to provide you with the tips for a successful state audit. When you come to work and suddenly you learn that the auditors are there, state surveyors are there, don't panic. Remember, they're just doing your job, and you're just doing your job. And it is your house, so you are of great advantage. Now, how to be more confident? How to be able to respond to their questions or whatever queries they might have for you is to be able to understand all the things that you should be aware of doing or shouldn't be doing while in the facility helping the residents. So here are the tips for a successful state audit. All right, when you are helping a resident, make sure that the resident is dressed appropriately. Clothes, they should be clean. They are wearing their shoes, and they should be theirs, not someone else's. Should be wearing their glasses if they are wearing their glasses. Properly wearing their dentures and hearing aids should be in place. Good amount of batteries. Now, what about when you look into saying your resident is groomed? Then we're looking at is clean shaven, hair is properly combed, should have their oral care provided already. Nails, they're clean and trimmed. So again, when the resident is groomed, we're talking about they are wearing their room gown, not in the hallways. It should be only while they are inside in the room. Now, if they are attending in any type of activities, because right now we are allowing our residents to be joining in the community activities, then they should be wearing the appropriate clothing while they are out there. Okay, so when you say the resident is clean, should be dry and free from any odors, not smell like pee or smell like soiled underwear or pull-ups. Now, when you go inside the room, make sure that the bedside table, they are clean. They should be free from any clutter. And if there is drinking water, it should be within reach. And if it requires a straw, then make sure there's a clean straw in it, so they can be easily accessible for our residents. Now, definitely they will be needing their call lights. Call lights should be within reach, not wrapped around the bed rails. They should be working and it's easily accessible, these call light buttons for our residents. Now, what about the nightstands? It should be free from clutter as well, and all items within are stored and labeled properly with their names or their bed number. Okay, so and you can use a Ziploc for that. What about closet? It should be neat. It should be free from any clutter. Again, we are making sure that our residence room in general should be clean and free from any clutter. As you can see me or can hear me talking about this many times. It should be clean and free from any clutter within and on top of the closet. Now, what about the room in general? It should be in working order. Lights, the bathroom lights especially, they should be working. And even the bedside lamp should be working as well. Bed controls, making if they were using APP mattresses, they should be working. And if there are any issues, make sure that you inform the housekeeping or the maintenance people so they can jump in, make sure that they are fixed or removed immediately for safety. Now, what about wheelchairs and walkers? So most of our residents will be needing walking devices so they can ambulate around the building, around the rooms or around the hallways, going to and back to the bathrooms or the activity areas or the dining rooms. Make sure that they are in working order and are clean, and it should belong to them as much as possible. What about the floor area? It should be free again, free from any clutter, trash, and they should be swept immediately and mopped clean behind dressers and tables. And remember, whenever you are taking care of trash, bag them while inside the room and just waiting right outside the door of the bedroom of the residence room. There should be a receptacle for that. Put it in there. Okay, cool. Now, what about the rooms and bathrooms? Again, earlier we mentioned they should have a working light in there. switches should be working, and it should be, again, free from any hazards. Whatever we're talking hazards, should cable running or any line across the working area. Make sure there are not any loose items on the floor that they can cause any possible injury. Could slip and or hit the floor, or fall, and any other things that could cause um, unwanted injuries or falls. Should be, again, free from any hazards. Trash on the tables should be taken away. Old food from the previous shifts or the previous days, weeks. Some of the residents, they like hoarding items, food, and other, even if they're canned goods or whatever, or they may have some food brought by the family members, and if it's already stale or already rotten, make sure they should be labeled and it should be put away. And of course, dust. Our tables and their cabinets, they would collect dust. Make sure they're free of dust and clean, and linens, soiled briefs, and should be out of there. And they should have any bad odor, like sometimes it smells like urine. Make sure it's clean. Treat it as it is your room. So how do you want your room to be? Make sure it's clean and presentable. Camera ready. I always say that. Now, those who are using oxygen and nebulizer, concentrator water should be there. It should be labeled as well, and make sure it's bubbling. And if you notice that it's not bubbling, therefore it's telling you that the oxygen is not flowing there. It's not on. Tubings, they should be dated. And if you're wearing CPAP masks, it should be cleaned as well. And your antimicrobial bags should be in place and dated. And let them not touch the floor as well, because we consider the floor as definitely dirty. They shouldn't be hanging in there. Also, when they are wearing their Foley catheter bags, they shouldn't be touching the floor. They should be in a separate, they should be hanging properly, and make sure that it doesn't cause any probable danger for our residents. Now, what about cold lights? So cold light, we can test that. Was the light answered timely? Don't wait for 30 minutes to 1 hour for the cold light to be answered. Make sure you immediately when you see the cold light, bam, you're right inside and like knocking and identifying yourself, asking what the resident might be needing at that point in time. It's very important, the cold lights. Look at them. Sometimes also in the bathroom, that really the red cold lights, bam, should be a bathroom lights. Very, very careful about that as well. Go in there, find out what's happening. Did the responding employee knock at the door? So when you go in there, don't just dash inside, don't just dart inside. Make sure you knock at the door, identify yourself, and then you find out what's going on. Okay. So again, when you're going in, make sure you practice providing dignity. Did the staff close the curtain while giving care? Especially when you're providing perennial care, make sure that they're properly covered. And even the neighboring uh, resident, they should be able to see what's going on. So make sure that the curtain is closing, or making sure it's covering the resident. Because we're aware some of the residents, they have 3 people in there, or 2 people are inside the bedroom, that they're sharing rooms, the co-ed rooms. Make sure that the other residents, they don't need to see what's happening or hearing what's the conversation on the other side of the bedroom. Okay. Now, did the staff sit while helping the resident feed? Okay, so some of the residents, when they're feeding, when we help them feed, make sure that we also sit right next to them. Okay, so don't stand. Never stand while feeding or helping your resident to enjoy their meal. Also, when you are sitting, don't sit along with the resident in the bed. Bring your own chair and sit on that chair that you brought inside. Okay, it's just very important that you practice that. Now, still about dignity. Did the staff address the resident appropriately? Never call them mama or papa or sweetheart or darling or hey honey or whatever or babe. So don't call them that way. Don't call them mama. They're not your mama, the papa, because they're not your father. So make sure to address them with the first name or the last name. Hello, Mr. Smith. Hello, Mr. Andrew. I'm here today to help you, change your briefs or whatever. I'm here to give you water for the evening. Those type of things. Appropriate call it is very, very important. Now, hallways. Are there any hazards in the hallway? Are carts distance from another cart? We're looking at 3 inches, 3 feet away from cart to cart. So make sure also when you're providing your when if it's lunchtime. So if it's lunchtime is about 12 o'clock, around 10:30, carts or the trash cans or the trash receptacles shouldn't be there anymore, or the soiled linens receptacles or the hamper shouldn't be on the hallways already. They should be put away, so that when you bring in food, the food carts hallways clean. It's ready for the meals. No. So again, look for any hazards in the hallways. Those are unnecessary items, like maybe Hoyer lift. Put them in the right place. Charge them in an identified area where they can not causing any hazard for any people. Because some of the residents are ambulating. Sometimes they're on wheelchair, just wheeling around the building and the hallways. So we don't want these items to just be stopping them from doing so, or this causing any possible hazards or injury. It's just for safety issue. Now, what about your uniform? Okay, you don't have to be wearing more expensive Figs or Giano type of scrubs. Just wear a more comfortable scrubs, and it's clean. It's very important. It's clean. And so, are you wearing your ID as well? And guess what? Your gate belt. You should be wearing your gate belt as well. So you're always ready if you need to transfer a resident from the bed to chair, chair to bed, or and vice versa, or whatever. So also, if you are working a double or not a double, if you're working in another facility as well, if you're coming in from another facility, make sure you bring your fresh new set of scrubs. Don't wear the same scrubs that you were wearing from another facility. And you bring that same clothing that you have, same scrubs while working in our facility. So it's very important, because for infection control, also for you, it will make you feel better. It make you feel more comfortable wearing a fresh set of scrubs. Okay. So again, so does the staff wear her ID? Our residents, or even in general, staff people need to know who you are or whoever is in the building. We should be wearing appropriate grooming, and then of course hair. Make sure that you tie them, and they shouldn't be like wagging all the way in front of your face, and be able to do your job properly. It's stopping you from seeing what you need to do. And then of course jewelry, not those huge dangling jewelry, the huge, sometimes they get caught in between, the wheelchair handle, and bam, that's your, you just ripped your earlobe in there. Perfume not too strong, dude. We shouldn't be wearing perfume in the first place. And of course, just go in, just make sure you have good showers, and you come to work. You don't need to be wearing really really super scented jewelry. And again, wear your gate belt. So when we communicate, does the staff communicate professionally with minimal noise level? So don't be yelling from one side of the hallway to another end of the hallway with a friend or with another staff. Don't do that, or with another resident. So please make sure that you are communicating in a professional manner. You use the correct language, speak English. So it's very important that our residents know what's going on, and even our other fellow staff working around us, let them know that you speak English and they're aware what you guys are talking about. It's just polite that way. Okay, so anticipating needs. So does the staff provide what might the resident need, such as water, could be a straw, or a TV control? So it's very important that we provide them even before they ask for it. So, it gives you more in control of your time. And also, one of the reasons why there is a great amount of fall with our residents is that you don't give them what they need. For example, they need water. Guess what? They're going to look for water around their rooms. This is what they're going to do. They're going to jump up from their bed. Bam. They forgot that they're not able to walk anymore, and that their limbs are not able to support them whenever they stand. So we have a resident on the floor. Another thing is that, for example, they need to get changed with their pull-ups or briefs. Make sure that we check them every now and then, so they are fresh and they're comfortable. If not, they keep moving around, asking for help or whatever. They get upset. Guess what's going to happen if frustrated? They keep moving, and then bam, again, we have a resident on the floor. So make sure that it's always best that we provide their needs even before they ask for it. Okay, let's move on. Allow me to talk about abuse now. abuse reporting, and I'm going to zero into the 8 types of abuse. I have my list here, as you can see on the screen. 1 to 8. Number 1 is physical, and this is not necessarily be in order. Physical abuse, biting, pinching, punching, slapping, those type of things. You shouldn't be doing that with your residents. What about mental and emotional abuse, neglect, even not giving a proper care? That's neglect, my friend. Financial, don't be meddling into the financial affairs of your residents. No. Involuntary seclusion, verbal and language abuse, sexual abuse, exploitation. Okay, so now if something else, something like that happened and occurred, and you're able to know or have the knowledge of any type of abuse, or even if it's just suspicion, you must immediately report these things to your facility abuse coordinator. And in most of the cases, it could be your administrator. Now let's slide a little bit to safety. Does the staff lock the wheelchair or bed wheels, the Hoyer lift when attending to this resident's needs? Make sure they are locked. We don't want to be drifting or wobbling, and you don't have enough control of the equipment that you're using. So make sure they are locked. It's for your safety and for the safety of your resident. Now let's move on to material safety data sheet. Other people call it the product safety data sheet. So for occupational safety is very important in health. Some people have allergies or bad reactions to certain chemicals that your facility may be using. You should be aware about the chemical compounds, and most importantly, how to handle these chemicals. What are the handling procedures? And your facility should also provide, or it's best that they can provide the eye washing equipment. Whenever it splashes into their eyes, they'll be able to wash off their eyes and not have some eye issues, eye concerns. Okay, so the material data safety data sheet should be available, and you should know where it is. What we have should be at the DON office or in the environmental safety manager's office. Okay, so let's move on to emergency locations. You should be able to know where these things are located. And our visitors, our surveyors would love to ask these questions. Where is the electrical shut off? Don't panic, don't panic. Where's the gas shut off? Okay, look confident. Where is the water shut off? You should be aware about these things. Where is the emergency generator? And then they will keep asking you, including where's the fire sprinkler shut off? Where's the water and food supply? Now you should be able to locate all these, and you can look into sometimes we have these ID buddies that they put it in there. Just look at it. It should be there. And ask your supervisors, you know what? During the orientation, you should be well oriented about what's the location of these emergency items. Okay, the location. Now, still about emergency. If there's fire, and how do you deal with the fire? And here's a fire response. We call the acronym as RAISE, or spelled as rescue, alarm, contain, and extinguish. It's very important. Again, rescue, alarm, contain, and extinguish. Okay, so that's RAISE. So they may ask you about that too. What about fire response? What is PASS? When you are using fire extinguisher, make sure how to use it. So here's the code, PASS. P for pull the pin. A for aim at the base of fire. And next thing you're going to do is to squeeze, and then make sure you sweep it side to side of the base of the fire. Okay, it's very important. Again, PASS, fire response is PASS, pull the pin. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of fire, squeeze and sweep side to side. Okay, so what are the emergency codes? We should be aware about these codes too. Code red, what does it mean? There's fire. Code red, fire. Yellow, this resident was on the floor. Resident fell, or resident found on the floor. It's yellow. Code yellow, number room 36B. Code pink, we got a missing resident. Code pink, everybody should be on the lookout. So here's what's happening if we have a code pink. Don't run away outside immediately. Try to look into the bathroom first. Maybe he's using the bathroom. Maybe beside or behind the curtain. Maybe on the fellow the roommate's bed, just sleeping there. Or maybe behind the door. Or maybe underneath the bed. So look around for the people, maybe in the activity room, maybe in the community room, maybe in the garden. So don't just jump around and call 911 immediately. Try to look for that individual first inside the building or inside the room. Okay. So what about orange? Orange is for hazardous materials. So code orange is hazardous materials, and make sure that we're about that as well. Or a code black for utility outage, and make sure your facility should be able to have a working electrical generator, those type of things. And sometimes you see in the hallway there are red outlets. Those are the emergency outlets. You can use them whenever there's a power outage. They should be working. Okay. Emergency codes, again, continue to do that. So what is a brown emergency code? Suspicious package. If you somebody just visited the facility and left a suspicious package, that's called the code for that is a brown code. Now what about the yellow code? Code yellow is for medical emergency, and for epidemic and pandemic, just like what we are having issues now, is a purple. And white is for active shooter. This is still happening, especially the different hate crimes is happening in the neighborhood. And we have, for example, some of our Asian sector, they're being attacked. There's a hate crime and going on, so we should be aware that we have Asians as well in our facility, and some crazy active shooter would just go dash in and just started opening fire. Okay, so that's active shooter is white. Now let's talk about precautions. So we're talking about codes here and colors. Orange is for contact precautions. Yellow is droplet precautions. Blue is for airborne precautions. And then, of course, white for isolation and for enhanced. That's your purple precautions. Okay, so now you're going to be wearing those gowns and stuff, mask and goggles and things, but you should be aware which one should you put on first. Now let's talk about donning PPEs. The very first thing that you're going to put on is gown. Okay, and then put on your gown. And sometimes when we go and put on our gown, we already have our mask, and that's fine. Don't have to remove your mask, throw it away, and then get another mask. It's fine. You wear your mask, and while you approach the equipment panel, maybe and grab the gown, you should have your mask on already. Let's keep it there. So again, number one is gown, and put on your mask and your face shields or goggles. Now, if you have your face shield, just put it away for meantime, and hold it with your hand on the sling or on the strap. Okay, and then put on your gown, and then you just insert it that way. So don't try to put on your gown with your face shield on, because you're gonna have a hard time to put on your gown, especially those gowns that you have to just slip in your head. And then the last thing that you're gonna put on is your gloves. Okay, so that's make sure that you are properly, the sleeves of the gloves, it should just be outside. Okay, again, donning your PPE. Number one is gown. Number two is mask. Number three is goggles or face shields. And the last one, put on your gloves. So that's donning. Donning is basically the other term for putting on. Yeah, wearing your PPEs. What about doffing or removing your PPEs? So here, you're gonna putting on your gloves. You're gonna remove your gloves first, and of course, starts on from dirty side to the dirty side of your gloves, putting away. And then number two is put on your goggles. I mean, remove your goggles. But in our ways, we just kind of keep our goggles, our face shields. And then number four is gown. Okay, that's the next thing I'm going to remove is gown. And then, of course, when you're leaving the facility, and then you have to remove your mask. But that's the order: gloves, goggles, face shields, and gown, and mask. Okay, so when should I wash my hands? Talking about hand washing this time, okay? So universal precaution, what is that? Hand washing. Frequent hand washing is very important, especially these days. We don't know how the virus can get in our system. We have a family, we take care of our kids and our elderly in the house, also here in the facility that you are. When should you wash your hand? Number one is before handling any food. If you are serving food out to your residents, make sure you are washing your hand. Before doing medication pass, after toileting, or after coming out from isolation rooms. It's very important. Basically, it's asking us to wash our hands frequently as much as possible. Okay, so What else? After touching your garbage, or when visibly soiled after using hand sanitizer. Sanitizer. Okay, if it's visibly soiled, wash your hands. And then you can, when you are using hand sanitizers, only use 4 times, and the fifth time you should wash your hands already. Again, 4 times with a hand sanitizer, that's okay. But on the fifth time, make sure you are washing your hands already. Don't be using hand sanitizer for the entire shift. You gotta stop at the fifth one, using the hand sanitizer, and just wash your hands. Let's talk about washing our hands now. So how do you do that? Remember, we talked about 20 seconds. 20 seconds scrubbing. Again, 20 seconds scrubbing. In general, in total, you should be working with your hands, washing your hands for 40 minutes to 60 seconds, or 1 minute. 40 seconds to 60 seconds. Okay, what is it? Use clean, warm water and soap. Lather the backs of your hands and between fingers and under nails. You'd be doing like this, right? So in between fingernails, back of hand, something like that, for at least 20 seconds. And then rinse. Don't wiggle, or you don't make any splashes, or don't shake your hands while you're rinsing or drying your hands. And then get a fresh paper towel and clean it. Use towel to turn off the water, and you're basically looking at, if you're looking at 20 total of 40 to 60 seconds when you are doing that. Okay, so just want to say good luck to all of you. Make sure that you keep your composure, keep your you should be able to manage your panic attack. And again, if you don't know, don't say I don't know. Keep it out of your language. Just say, all right, let me find out. I'm gonna speak with my supervisor. Let me ask my supervisor, or just casually pull out this ID buddy and find out. Okay, so you're asking about where is the, for example, where is um, this cute one here. Where is the water shut off? Sometimes we get confused immediately, or where is the emergency generator? Hold on, miss. Hold on, sir. Let me just look into my ID buddy just to make sure. Or just pull it. Okay, hold on. Ah, yeah, it is right outside the break room. Those type of things. You should just keep your composure. And again, keep watching this video until you get the hang of it, until it becomes part of your system and you don't forget anything. And again, these are just some of the things that they may be asking. There's going to be a lot under Title 22 and infection control practices that they may be asking. I mean, they can always ask questions, and don't panic. And again, they're just doing the job, like what I said. So good luck to you, and pass this to your friends, to other CNAs, other nurses, so they are more confident, and whenever they're being followed during the visit, during the surveys. Okay, so good luck. Again, my name is Cliff. I'm Director of Staff and Development, and I feel I'm glad doing this video, and I hope you find value with this video and share it with your friends. And I'm gonna say goodbye now.